Hi everybody, Karis here. We had auditions this week for Xanadu, and before we had auditions I posted some stuff online as far as kind of a how-to guide as far as how to audition for musical theater. And I've had some people come to me after the fact, asking some questions about, what could I have done, what should I have done, what could have been different, whatever. And I've got a couple of thoughts about that. First of all, I'm directing a show for the Cheyenne Little Theater Players, and that is a community theater. And, the theater aspect of it, we try to put on as professional show as possible. We try to have professional attitudes. We really try to expect a lot from our volunteers. And we really try to have a professional experience both backstage and as far as from the perspective of the folks in the audience. We try to put on a good show. At the same time, there's the community aspect of it. It is a community theater, and I think that we need to make sure that we never lose sight of the fact that we need to be providing a community service. And a big part of that community service is providing a venue for people in the community to gain the experience of what it's like to be in a show and giving them an opportunity to learn from being in the show. It is a training ground. So I think that it's important to not lose sight of that fact. So with that in mind, couple of suggestions or recommendations as far as auditioning for musical theater. And I just want to make it clear that I don't think for a second that I am, Lord King God of musical theater. I wouldn't presume. So, keep that in mind. Every director is going to be looking for different things. Every director is going to have different attitudes. So, but hopefully some of the suggestions that I've got here will translate and be somewhat universal. Number one, be familiar with the show that you're auditioning for. Different shows require different types of vocal styling. Okay, if you need to know if you're auditioning for Dreamgirls, you need to know what kind of vocals are expected for that. If you show up for a Dreamgirls audition and or you show up and you're singing nothing but like falsetto Gilbert and Sullivan operetta, wrong choice. You need to know exactly what the show is, have some idea of what the vocal styling for the show is, and be able to give the directors, or whoever's involved in casting, you need to be able to show them what it is that they're looking for. Make their job easier and give yourself every advantage. That's kind of an underlying concept of all of this. I run into a lot of people who like to be in shows, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But I can tell you as a director, I am not as interested in people who like to be in shows and are just going to audition for every damn thing that comes along. I'm not really interested in that. So you like to be in shows. Good for your ego. Who cares? I want people who want to be in my show. I'm interested in people who, in this case, I'm directing Xanadu. I don't want people who just want to show up for every show. I'm more interested in people who kind of say, Xanadu? Man, I want to be in that. That's what gets me excited. Okay, and the people who are excited about being in my show tend to do a little homework and find out, and they know about the show, and they show up better prepared than the person who just wants to, let me just kind of be in a show. So there's that. Let's see, audition voice. Okay, musical theater requires a different discipline than just standard singing. There's a storytelling element. There's an acting element involved. You need to make sure that you are enunciating clearly. We see so much of what you see in pop singing, popular music singing, involves good microphone technique. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticizing pop technique at all, or pop production, or pop styles of vocals. But they've got a microphone right there that they're singing into that does a lot of their work for them. Now, in musical theater, even if you have one of those little headset mics or something like that during the production, you still need to have pipes, and you need to enunciate clearly. And you need to help tell the story, because you're not just singing, you're acting. Some people kind of have the wrong idea about musical theater, that there's a switch that you turn on. Okay, now I'm acting, so I'll recite my dialogue, and then I flip that switch, and now I'm singing. No, you never stop acting. You're always playing a character, and every syllable that you enunciate, whether it's in dialogue or whether it's in song, is to further the story. So you need to warm yourself up and warm up your vocal instrument and all your facial muscles the same way that you would for a performance, for an acting performance, because you are trying to show me that you have the ability to tell a story. There are dynamics. When you're auditioning for a show, if you stand up and sing a song that is basically a one emotion song, you're not showing range. You want to show vocal range and you want to show emotional range. You need to show some dynamics. Okay, great. You sing a song that's sad. You can express sad. So what do I walk away as a casting director? Oh, okay. Well, this person can express sadness. Can they express happiness? Can they express giddiness, excitement? What are the? I have no idea because you didn't show me that. So try to pick a piece that helps to showcase your ability to show range across the emotional spectrum and show your vocal range. That's a challenge to try to pick those things. Nevertheless, that's give yourself every advantage. Don't show up and do some canned bit. I'm the good ship, lollipop. No one wants to see that shit. I'm sorry. People that rehearse a staged bit and then come out and perform it exactly the way that they rehearsed it a million times in their bedroom, it's lifeless, it's cold, it's dead, it's uninteresting, and it doesn't, when I'm sitting there watching people audition doing this kind of thing, I just know. It doesn't matter if there's anyone in the room or not. This is exactly how it's going to be performed, and it's not going to... Don't do it. Don't do that person. Or don't be that person. I already spoke about how important it is for you to emote. Sometimes choosing to do your favorite song is not always going to be your friend, because your favorite song might not be in your prime vocal range. If you do a song, and even whatever song you choose, even if it's your absolute favorite, if you're not hitting the notes, then that song is not doing you any favors. If you're straining and struggling to hit the high notes, guess what we're hearing? We're hearing that you've got a limited vocal range. If you picked a piece where you jump up into falsetto midway through a line or a stanza, and that switch to the falsetto voice and back isn't smooth, that's what we key in on. That's what we're hearing. A big part of what you need to do is you need to figure out how you can play to your strengths and present to me your strong points, and hide or minimize your weak points. So just the very song that you choose can actually backfire. Your favorite song can backfire if all it does is show me the limitations of your voice, or where you have problems with your voice breaking into falsetto, or anything about it that's not smooth. Just be aware of that. I already spoke about showing emotional range. Okay. Don't show up at an audition using the backing tracks from a YouTube video. Oh, for God's sake. Invest a little bit in yourself. Spend $1.25 or whatever it is on Apple iTunes and buy the song. If you're gonna bring a recording to an audition, you want to know what's frustrating is trying to run an audition, having a room full of people and looking at your watch and hoping you've got time to get it through everything, and then having someone come up with a YouTube video that's the backing track for the song they want to audition with, and then you have to sit through a friggin' commercial before you can get to the audition, before you can get to the backing track. That is beyond frustrating. You've already got marks against you before you even open your mouth, and it's all about. It just shows me you didn't prepare, you didn't bother, and you don't believe in yourself enough to invest less than $2 in a quality backing track for your audition. You just showed me that you don't care. One thing that you don't want to do, don't come to my audition. I've already been working on this show, Xanadu. I've been working on it for over a year. I've been working really intensely on the music for 6 months. Don't show up at my audition and treat it like karaoke night at the local bar. That does not fly with me. And it's not going to fly with any director. This isn't just me being a jerk. This is it. This is how it is. You also, next step. You need to have some kind of an accurate idea. Where are you pitch-wise? If you have the kind of voice that tends to lean a little bit sharp or tends to lean a little bit flat, you need to be aware of these things. And sometimes friends and family, in their desire to be supportive, sometimes they won't let you know what you need to hear. Now, almost every type of smartphone has an app available that you can sing your song and it will show you in real time what your pitch looks like. That's a good tool to have, and that should be part of your rehearsal process. Again, it's all about trying to show up at the audition having given yourself every possible advantage to do your best work. There are also devices like this. This is the Roland VT12. Same concept. You turn this on, you sing your song, it shows you when you're leaning sharp, it shows you when you're leaning flat. It's going to give you an accurate idea of what your pitch is. Work with these things as part of your rehearsal process to prepare for your audition. Walk into your audition prepared, having an idea of, you've worked the song, you've done this, and you can feel a little more confident. To tell you, one thing that's really frustrating for me is when I hear people belting out with extreme confidence notes that are not even anywhere close to where they're supposed to be. Because I just go, man, do they not even hear that? Are those the kind of people you want to have in your cast? Yeah, rehearse. Last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. I've seen so many people show up at an audition for musical theater with a piece of backing music that doesn't have a strong beat, or a strong rhythm to follow. No drums. Okay, it's all kind of like this, airy, esoteric string section and stuff like that, and that might be all great and beautiful for the radio or for karaoke night. Okay, but all of a sudden you're in an audition, and it's in a different setup, and you're listening on a different system, and you don't have a microphone, and you're trying to hear the beats so that you know when you should be singing, so you can get your phrasing correct, and all of a sudden you're not hearing it. And you're sitting there struggling, and your timing is completely off because you don't have a drum beat to follow, and you're struggling through the entire song because you don't know where the timing is. You've already given yourself a disadvantage because you can't find the rhythm. The next thing that happens is, in order for you to try to find the rhythm, you sing softer so the volume of your voice isn't so loud in your own ears that you can't hear the rhythm. So now you're straining to try to hear the rhythm from a song that doesn't have a drum beat to it, and you're singing softer as a result. So now you're not projecting. And those of us that are out there making the casting decisions are watching you and going, man, this person has no sense of timing and is so quiet, can't even project. You've just given yourself 2 slashes against you. Don't do that to yourself. If there's any take-home message from this entire video, it is, find a way to give yourself every advantage in the audition process. These are just a couple of steps that you might want to look at. Play to your strengths. Try to minimize your weaknesses, but try to be aware of what your weaknesses are so that you can work on those things and come back stronger for the next audition. Anytime that you're auditioning, always be thinking about what lessons am I learning for the next audition. Okay? That's all I've got for today. I know that's a lot, but hey, peace and love, and we'll see you at the next audition, and you'll be fantastic.